Welcome to the Genetic Code. I'm your host, Jeanette Collins. This podcast is designed to take you one episode at a time on an intimate journey of your own personal transformation. Each podcast will have tools and techniques for you to practice in your daily life to create the very best version of you. Let's get started. Decision. Making decisions requires knowledge and information. On the journey of self-transformation, there are a lot of things to become aware of. Now that you are becoming more aware of your patterns and behaviors, you're learning to focus your attention on what you desire to be and not so much on just running unconscious programs of your past. With your heightened awareness and more focused attention, you can begin making new decisions. What kind of behaviors and emotions do you desire to have? How do you desire to respond to things happening within you so you can respond better to the events happening around you? What do you desire your life to look like? What changes do you need to make to begin to create the life you desire? Start with small steps, one at a time, and begin implementing your new behaviors into your daily routine. Let's imagine that with all your new awareness and attention on your personal patterns and behaviors, that you desire to change and make decisions to start changing your thoughts and reactions that you know are negative. For example, maybe when certain events happen and your emotional stories get triggered, and you find yourself feeling angry or hurt, and your reaction is to be very unkind to yourself and others in words or actions, you may notice that going to the unkind way of reacting to people happens automatically. When events trigger those old stories within you, you're having automatic reactions. Those stories have a big emotion attached to them. That's why you remember them so well. As you become aware that these behaviors and reactions are stirring up inside you because of something happening outside you, stop, breathe, and notice the way you're thinking and feeling right now. Notice what you're thinking and feeling as the events were unfolding. I'm not asking you to analyze this. Just notice what's happening inside of you. It's that knee-jerk reaction. Just like when someone or something startles you, you find your reaction was less than a fraction of a second behind the event. This is a fight or flight response. When you or your body feel unsafe, you look for ways to feel safe. When you don't have the proper tools and information to know how and when to respond, we by default feel insecure and unsafe. And when people feel this way, we retreat to our automatic fight or flight behavior. We can't choose loving responses. We can only react to run, fight, or hide until we can feel safe again. Your ability to respond and create a response or no response never comes to mind when you're feeling insecure and unsafe. The reasoning part of your brain naturally shuts down until you can get yourself to safety. You will know that you've been operating in the fight or flight mode when you notice that when all the emotion has calmed down and some time has passed by, you become aware that the way you behaved and the reactions you had weren't what you really wanted to do or say. So let's take the next step. Imagine this image in your mind. See the person you have spent most of your life so far being. Notice the ways of being that you desire to be changed and overcome. Now, right next to that version of you is the desired version of you, one where you love life, feel empowered, and more at peace within yourself with more compassion and you're more abundant. So let's look at the two images side by side. One may be heavy with struggles and automatic reactions to the events in your life, and the other one is lighter with more love, peace, and feeling free to choose a conscious response to the circumstances of your life. I'm not going to suggest that you just stop living up by the programs within you and stop being negative and your life will be better. That's an incomplete model of change that doesn't work. I know that from my own experience, and you probably do too. So feel this with your heart. What I do want to suggest is this. Deep down, inside of you, you are already the loving being you desire to be. But You haven't been practicing that version of you very much, so it doesn't seem as real to you as the version you have been practicing every day, consciously or unconsciously. Does that make sense to you? Now, just acknowledging that you can be this loving, kind, compassionate, healthy, abundant being by itself won't make the shift. There's more to this process. I have had personal experiences that we and everything around us comes from love. The kind of love that holds the universe in place and causes all of nature to work in perfection. I'm not really referring to the simple phrase, I love ya. That love is just fine. The love I'm talking about is a whole different level of love. So please continue feeling this in your heart. What if that loving version of you, the one you truly desire to be more of, could, by your decision, at the very moment that an outside event or circumstance was happening and causing you to want to react to the old negative way, what if you could stop, become aware of what was happening inside you, pay attention to how you're breathing, what your body's feeling, and the emotions that you're currently experiencing? Ask yourself, what emotion am I experiencing right now? Frustration, sadness, anger, loneliness. Do you know what it is? Now pay attention to your body. Where in your body is this emotion at? Do you feel it in your stomach, your head, your chest, your neck, your legs, your shoulders? Where is it? Just notice where in your body you are feeling distress or tightness. You'll know. Your body has a beautiful way of telling you when you're out of alignment. Pain or distresses are a great signal. Now that you are aware of what you are feeling and thinking, and you have your attention on your body, where the distress is showing up, now you can make another decision. It's a big one that can change everything. Decide to let the story go. Stories about what happened are in the past. Even a few moments ago, it's still the past. We have the ability to create any story we want about any emotion we're having, but stories have a big impact on the emotion. For example, just like if you're holding two magnets together, placing their like poles together, they repel each other and push each other apart. It becomes a struggle to try and force them together. When you resist the emotion you're having by telling a story to validate your emotion, you're like the magnet, pushing against yourself. Stories create resistance. We make it unsafe to allow the emotion to just be felt. When we attach a reason why, or in other words, create a story about it, we are creating an inner struggle to fight and resist a feeling, an emotion that is unpleasant. When you tell a story about why you feel this emotion or that one, you hold that emotion hostage in your body. It can't go anywhere. And what you resist persists. Your body is energy. Emotions are energy in motion. So when you resist the emotion by refusing to feel and allow, because the story you attached to this emotion created a valid reason in your mind to struggle, this process traps the energy of that emotion in your body. And energy needs to move. As you feel this emotion in your body, stop the story of why. Just feel. Be present. Notice what it feels like in your body. Is it heavy? Cold? Shaky? Painful? Maybe numbing? You now have more of your attention on your body and less attention attempting to justify it with a reason why or a story. Now you can practice being that greater version of you, the more patient, present, more loving you, right now. So close your eyes. Unless you're driving or something, then please, by all means, keep your eyes open and practice this step when it's a better time for you to do so. But place one hand on the spot on your body that is experiencing all this distress, and place your other hand over your heart. Here is the action step. Say to yourself out loud, or you can do it silently in your mind, it's up to you. It's safe for this emotion to be felt in my body. Repeat it again softly and with as much love as you would offer to a small child who was scared. It's safe for this emotion to be felt in my body. Name the emotion you are feeling. Fear is safe to be felt in my body. Sadness is safe to be felt in my body, and so forth. Remember, no story why, just feel it. When you practice this kind of love, the love that safely allows, you are practicing a greater way of being. You aren't saying, it's safe to feel angry because that guy just cut me off in traffic, so I have a reason for this. Stop at the because. You aren't allowing anymore. When you condition your emotion, or another way to say it, is when you are present or just allow yourself to feel the experience of an emotion being safe to feel, you are practicing unconditional love. By allowing yourself to love this way, you are taking the struggle out of it, and you begin to reduce the intensity of those unwanted or negative emotions. And you are creating more space and experiences in you of peace. Now, I'm a very visual person, so when I practice this tool, I enjoy seeing the emotion that I am currently in personified. I do it in my mind, and I make it into a person who's embodying this particular emotion. For example, if it's shame that I'm allowing to be safely felt, I see and feel it as a person who's needing me to love and allow this perceived unlovable emotion to just be. My experience has been that as I do this successfully and don't attach a story, the emotion in time, sometimes quicker than other times, alchemizes into a lighter version. Alchemy means to transmute or change a common substance, usually of little value, into a substance of great value. What I want to share now with you is just my personal belief that for me is quickly becoming more of a knowing through experience. And it's this. Every altered emotion that's not love wants to go home, back to love. The pure energy of expansion and allowing from where it originated. Once it was altered and became a frequency of anger, sadness, etc., when held again in a true space of love by you, because you are practicing love, the energy expands and greater levels of love are created and now available to you. We are beings who have the capacity to hold and feel emotions. We can practice unconditional love with ourselves. And when we allow the emotions we experience and aren't too fond of how they feel, those unpleasant ones, to just have their moment and be, it's empowering. It's our judgment on an emotion that holds the emotion in its perceived state. As long as we judge it as good or bad, light or dark, we are in resistance to what is by creating a story about it. We are truly divine beings walking in these magnificent bodies. We can hold duality without placing a story of good or bad on it. We can be aware of the light and the dark at the same time. With practice, you will see the beauty in it all, the perfection of life, and your inner being will alchemize and your perceptions will shift to reveal a greater you. When you practice your new decision to stop the storytelling and just allow the emotion to just be there, the experience will produce a sense of inner freedom, more self-love and acceptance. And when you feel more loving and accepted within you, by you, you will offer it more readily to others. Because you are experiencing this love and acceptance, you know you have it to share with others. Remember when you were little and an obstacle was before you and you didn't know if you could do it, like riding a bike or learning to read or your first long division problem? When you practiced doing the steps to learn, even though it wasn't perfect, you were instantly rewarded with the emotion of joy in your efforts, which in turn creates a deeper belief in you and your abilities to do things, overcome things, and to become more like the you desire to be. This can inspire you to practice more and start making more decisions about different beliefs, patterns, and behaviors that you can see aren't producing the desired outcome. The feeling you have when you've done the work of sitting and allowing those undesirable emotions to be is a deeper sense of self-worth and joy. This is how we change the world. There is no greater work to be done than to practice changing the inner way you perceive you. The way you have more compassion with you, more patience and understanding with yourself and your shadow sides and light sides. You are filling you up with more love and less fear, more compassion and less judgment. And we can only give what we have. So you experiencing that you have more love and understanding within yourself, for yourself, you will automatically offer the same to others. When you change you and practice being more love, you will live what you now practice and believe. You will be kinder to self, more patient with self, and to others. That creates a ripple effect in the water of life, and that effect will ripple out to touch the lives of thousands. So let's recap what we've been talking about. As you become aware of your inner world, and as you place your attention on what you desire to change, you can make conscious, loving decisions to create conscious, loving actions. You practice allowing the emotions that are undesirable to you to be safely felt, without a story. You are practicing unconditional love. By this practice, you will be changing inside to reveal a greater you. So think about this. When you feel joy and love being alive, your responses to others are kind and loving. If you continue to practice feeling safe to feel your emotions without judgment or stories, your abilities within you to shift and change your own life will start to become a little easier. Just like anything else in life you practice, the more you practice, the better you'll get. So are you practicing patience, kindness, and love with yourself? Or have you been practiced beating up yourself inside? What you decide to become aware of and pay attention to, the changes you practice will by natural law get stronger. Be conscious of what you decide and practice this new decision with unconditional love. I invite you this week to decide what patterns, beliefs, and behaviors with their adjoining emotions you're ready to overcome. When practicing the power to make a decision, choose to do so with more love for you and all those old undesirable behaviors. It will make all the difference. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. Please share this with others and tune in next week for another chance to learn, grow, and become a part of the greatest journey on earth, the journey to transform yourself, to empower yourself, and to extend that love to the world. You are worth it.